Okay. This is. Anyways, we're gonna go into the illusion a bit here, okay? And we're gonna go into illusion and talk about diet.
Well, my next guest hasn't eaten a hot meal in 33 years, but don't pity him. He's never felt better. Aris Latam is a raw foodist and the founder of the Sunfired Culinary Institute, a Jamaica-based company that specializes in training chefs and teaching people how to incorporate raw food into daily living. By raw food, I mean fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, and even in some cases, meat and fish.
That's
None
wrong.
of it heated over 40 degrees Celsius. Raw foodists believe that eating predominantly uncooked foods can lead to significant health benefits. Latam debuted his gourmet raw food creations in Harlem, New York in 1979. He's spoken and presented at health conventions all over North America, catered for celebrities like Prince and Demi Moore, and opened a restaurant in Los Angeles. He's 61 years old, and Aris Latam is now based in Ocho Rios, Jamaica, but right now he's in Studio Q. Hello, sir.
Hey, hello. How you doing?
Very
man?
nice to have you here.
Yeah, let me give you one cue here.
All right.
Not in some cases meat and fish. That is
Never?
No, never.
Okay.
No, I don't know how that got in there.
I don't know how that got in there. That
You
was the
know.
information we were given. Never meat.
Never, no animals at all. I love them so much. I would hate to bury them in my gut.
You know what's funny? As I was saying it, I was thinking this is a strange twist.
Yeah.
But maybe there's some form of meat and fish I didn't know about that our researchers have found that you sometimes. So anyway,
Well, actually, meat is food. The original meaning of the word meat is food. So yeah, we do use nut meat. So we're not going to allow the flesh eaters to get
but
away
you've
with
done a
that
good
word
job.
exclusively.
I stand corrected. Tell me about.
Alright, first off. Let's see how he's sitting, dude. He's like, his lower back is barely touching. I don't even know if it's touching. I don't think it's even touching the seat. Yeah, this guy over here on the left.
Wait,
You've
with
done a
that
good job.
word
I
exclusively.
stand
I'm like, ooh, good job, dude.
corrected. Tell me about this.
I'm not trying to make. He just doesn't know, but even I'm telling you, consciousness, awareness, and stuff, it's everywhere. Okay, there's truths. Okay, and the people that understand the truth, especially the big truths like diet and God and all this stuff, they're gonna understand the truths like posture and stuff like that too. Okay.
I understand you were already a vegetarian
So it's a
before
big
you
truth
switched
as well.
to raw foods. This is 33 years ago. Why did you decide to go raw?
Well, it's strictly just analytical, just from an intellectual base,
Yup. That's why people go raw. Okay. That is why people go raw. But guess what? There's a lot of distraction out there and a lot of institutionalized thought about this, okay? But if you really are, if you really do get intellectual with it, you figure it out.
Reading and studying these things, being in the college set at that time, hanging out with all of the wonderful back to the land counterculture people, Black Power movement, and just trying to really empower ourselves and taking control of our lives, and analyzing the whole issue of food and seeing how it's really, even back then, I mean, it was a weapon, a very serious weapon, and today even it is.
Still
It's
is.
like we're feeding certain people around the world some food that are definitely killer foods.
Okay. You gotta understand this. If you're new to this, you have to understand that it's literally you're supposed to eat raw fruits and vegetables, maybe some seeds and nuts. Okay, you can do that too. But all this other food, especially the main staples of of the American diet and basically everywhere else, are literally not food. It's literally not what we're supposed to eat, and it's the cause of all of our disease. But we are extremely desensitized to it, okay? If you go and park in a supermarket and you look around at everyone has these big guts and they're decrepit, barely walking, out of it, big old guts and rosacea, weird ass diseases and stuff. It's simply disease, and no other animal on this earth deals with disease like humans do. but you're desensitized to it. You think it's just normal. You look at someone that's obese, and that's normalized to you. When in reality, we need to become sensitized to it again and realize that obese like obesity is like extremely messed up, right? And obesity is just like it's just the iceberg of all these disease problems, right? Like, think about if you had like a pet and you like neglected it for 2 months, and then you like opened up its like pen or something and looked at it and it's like deformed. Like that's a lot. That's a ton of humans. That's a reality of most humans right now, and it's simply because we're eating the wrong thing, right? And so why is this happening? Because it's a matter of consciousness, and because the institution, for whatever reason, has gone this way and has, you're spawned in, and there's all this institutionalized thought around you. Okay, corporations affect this, and then it is largely corporations that affect it, but it doesn't really matter why it happened. You just gotta understand that it did happen, and this is why we don't understand it. And then there's people, and then, okay, and so then it's a matter of consciousness, and our society is extremely distracted. Okay, we never really start pondering stuff. We never look at ourselves. We never look at the world, because everything is a distraction. The television, the TV, work, school, your friends, dualistic thought with the ego, thinking in images. It's all distraction, and it's all high stimulation. And guess what? Corporations found out that we get addicted to high stimulation, and guess what? Every day we get addicted more and more, and every day the corporations think about how to make higher stimulation for us because we need a more and more potent hit. And this is the root cause of all of our mental problems. Okay? Psychiatric disorders have never been linked to genetics. And it's really simple. What do you think your nervous system is, dude? When your nervous system is addicted to high stimulation, you're going to have anxiety, you're going to have depression, you're going to be overthinking, you're going to be neurotic. Okay?
That are really anti-life, and we need to bring this whole thing back home.
It's interesting. We think of, I think, maybe mistakenly, of raw food as a contemporary phenomenon. I think of Woody Harrelson or people who've been doing this in the last decade. Was it a phenomenon? Was it a large part of the culture that you were experiencing in the 70s when you started?
Let's see what. I mean,
Started promoting raw food?
Well, first of all, there's nothing new under the sun. As human beings, we've been on this planet for at least 1 million years based on recorded history. And it's only been 100,000 years since the advent of fire. So obviously, for 900,000 years, human beings never, ever ate any cooked food. So we don't
okay,
need
boom, right? So he just broke it down. He just broke it down right there, right?
any science or religion to give us any arguments as to what is the natural, original, and best food for human consumption. We're not cooked
That's
food
in line
eaters
with
by
our
nature.
evolution.
Yeah, in the 70s, the whole raw food thrust was based on sick care. Dr. Ann Wigmore, a very beautiful, wonderful lady, came up with the Hippocrates Health Institute and the whole concept of sprouting and really regenerating plant foods onto a level where we unlock the life force in them, and they were known as for their healing qualities. So, but when I came on the scene with my background from a Caribbean, high taste, culture, it was just, I mean, you really had to be sick to enjoy raw food back then, So, but I just brought the flavor into it. I spiced it, So we call it sun-fired food, gourmet living foods.
By the way, I do want to mention that Chaos is sitting at the table here.
Yes.
Born in Trinidad, by the way.
Oh, yes.
And Chaos, Aris, Chaos.
I just had a quick question. I tried raw food for, maybe I'm a vegetarian myself for like
Yes.
a year, and I found that I had this lust for cooked food. And
Hmm.
that was an amazing point about 900 years of not eating raw food. But do you think sometimes through evolution, the human body and character changes, and things that we have the ability to kind of shapeshift, and that becomes a part of our diet as well? Or like my question is like, what's the line of what is and what is not when humans are such an evolving species?
Well,
Okay, so like, it's so like it's so silly. It's just so silly what this guy's saying. Like, and I think he does give a good response, but I like wish I was there to back him up even more, right? So, what did evolve is the mind. Okay, the mind evolved, right? And this is all about how we become addicted to overstimulation, right? So guess what? When you're born into the institution that's already addicted to overstimulation, and that gives you all this food that is overstimulating, that is all about sensation, 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 crazy amounts of sensation. Guess what? Your mind evolves to become addicted to that, right? And that's what this guy was dealing with. And then who knows what was going on? What this guy was really eating? Was he really eating enough? Did he really detox himself? You know, what was his lifestyle choices anyways? Where like because you have to break away from from the stimulated nervous system lifestyle to really be able to do this, right? Because it's the same thing. It's all connected, right? So what did change? What really evolved is the addiction. That's what evolved. The mind evolved to be addicted. That's all.
I mean, we're evolving, but then actually in today's world, we're devolving.
Uh
Right.
huh. Uh huh. You know, people that don't really think about society and civilization, if I say something like, oh, we need to plant a bunch of fruit trees and start growing gardens and stuff and become communal and everyone can just take from the fruit and all that, people are like, oh, that's not human nature. Like, that's not Dude, think a little harder, okay? If you, they think society and civilization is human nature, right? No, it's not. That's why everyone has mental problems. That's why everyone is obese and has disease. This is not human nature, and that's nature waking us up to it. Okay? Human nature is when humans are 100% healthy. We're not anywhere close to that right now.
You
Right.
know, because they're sick. These human beings are sick from eating all these foodless foods. Because we had the power of fire, we can torch and roast animals and barbecue things, fried potatoes and things that are not food. Potatoes are not food for human consumption. You know, if you really even look into the original law of food, it says, behold, for I've given unto you the seed yielding trees, and unto you they shall be your meat. Our food should come from a seed yielding source. We're more closely related to the frugivorous creatures, to the monkeys, the apes, the gorillas. We're
Uh huh.
fruitarians by nature. But of course, yes, we're strayed a long way from home. So we want to come back to the plant kingdom, in full force. But if you just get into a fruitarian lifestyle right now, you're going to go through some major cleansing.
Let me just get the cooked the case you made for uncooked food out of the way here, because Dr. Richard Wrangham, professor of biological anthropology at Harvard University, and you know that there's people who
Hmm.
make this argument, so
Oh,
I want to
yes,
hear you
sure.
on it. He argues that discovering fire and in turn cooking are the two things that set us apart from other animals. That's what makes us human. And so, if cooking is so ingrained in what he would call human nature, why would we reject it?
Well, yes, it has set us apart. Yeah, we are the sickest animals in creation. It definitely has set us apart. It's killing us. It's destroying us.
Exactly. It's this is literally true, guys. Okay, if you go on a raw diet, your disease goes away. Okay? You're not going to be an obese, disease-ridden person if you're on a raw diet. People that detox fully and are on a raw diet literally have no disease, no headache, no acid reflux, no cancer, no neurological problems, nothing. Okay? Guess what? Animals in nature, they don't deal with acid reflux. They don't deal with headaches. They don't take Advil and antacid every day. Like, really? Like, the world needs to wake up. The world needs to wake up to this type of stuff, right? It really, like this professor he's a total fool. He's a total fool. He couldn't make this connection, right? God bless him, but you know, we got these, and this is like, you gotta understand, like, we got these unconscious people at the head of these institutions and at the head of these like so-called, you know, places of knowledge, and it's just like so silly, the stuff they have to say.
And we're using that power to destroy other animals, to grab some chickens and barbecue them. I mean, what kind of human beast we think we really are? You know, so it has set us apart, but in a very destructive way. You know, if you really look at all the animals in creation, you know, they eat fresh, whole foods. And even the flesh eaters, the carnivorous, they don't eat cooked meat. They don't even eat dead flesh. A lion would pass a dead cow sitting on the highway. But, you know, they grab their flesh fresh, warm. They swallow it whole. They got the necessary digestion.
Yeah, they swallow it whole, right? This is the difference between a meat eater and a frugivore, right? They swallow the meat whole, and guess what? Their colon is extremely small. You know how big our colon is? Our colon is huge, right? You gotta understand, like, our biology points towards it anyways, right? And why wouldn't it? Because it's what we evolved to eat anyways, right? Like, what I wish I was there to just back this guy up, you know? Like, what he's saying is true, but, you know, sometimes, like, people just need, like, an extra, like, slap in the face.
Digestive chemistry to break it down. We are really living a very obscene life, you know, getting into all this advanced. Now we're going into to irradiating foods and what do you call this thing, microwaving. I mean, if cooking wasn't fast enough, I mean, how fast you want to get to the grave?
Let me ask you about that, because
seriously, like, this is what we need to realize, like, it's really like this, you know? It's like, you know, there's some
It wasn't fast enough. I mean, how fast you want to?
It's like, you know, like this obesity shit, and it's just like in the stagnant lymphatic system. That's the big one. All this, the cooked food, just doesn't, like, destroys your lymphatic system. And guess what your lymphatic system is? It's your detoxer. It's your immune system. It's what detoxes you. It's what keeps you young. It's what gets the toxins out of your cells. If you're eating cooked food, you stagnate the shit out of your lymphatic system. If you're eating cooked food, you stagnate shit in your colon. There's actual shit stuck in your colon. You get it out by going on a raw food diet, and then it never comes back when you're on a raw food diet. You know? If you go on a raw food diet, you're gonna start shitting out the most putrid shit you've ever seen. And every time you do shit it out, it's gonna make you feel better than you ever thought you could feel. You know, it's like really obvious. It's just really it's like really obvious stuff. And like people like this guy, you know, you gotta take him seriously and you gotta respect him because he's a saint. He's up here talking about obvious, like, to him it's very, very obvious. Very, very obvious. But then he has to deal with, like, all these, like, just extremely idiotic arguments. You know, it's just idiotic. You know, and so there's many people that are like this, or many people that see the truth in almost everything, right? This is the diet, right? But the truth is not just diet, right? It's everything, right? And so there's a lot of people that see the truth, but they're just out of their ego. They're not attached, and, you know, for them to have to go and explain it to someone that's more unconscious than them is too egoic for them, or too much attachment and too much suffering. They already got it figured out. They can sit with their enlightenment. But then, right? And that's a lot of people. And then there's saints like this guy who are on a conquest to wake up the unconscious, even though he has to deal with the unconscious to do it.
Get to the grave.
Let me ask you about that, because and we'll move on from. I mean, let's accept the premise that, because there are, I think, a lot of people who want a raw food lifestyle and who find it difficult. There's
Yes.
challenges. One of them, it occurs to me that following a raw food diet can be time consuming as well as limiting if you enjoy eating out. How do people get around that?
There's
Time consuming. What are you talking about, dude? You know, it's like time consuming. No, it's not at all. It's like one of the it's very simple. It's very simple, right? And then it's like, oh, they can't eat out. It's like, oh, sorry. There goes your sensation seeking and pleasure seeking, overstimulation seeking, like, habit, right? Like, and this is a part of our society. It's like, you got to realize that that type of stuff is a distraction, and your satisfaction and happiness is in the moment. And the more simplistic your life is, the more satisfied you are. The more complicated your life is, the more unsatisfied you are. Okay, this whole problem of, oh, people want to eat out, oh, they want to molest their taste buds. It's because we're addicted to overstimulation. And overstimulation is what blocks you from the truth. Right? Once you train your nervous system for low stimulation, you're able to look at yourself, you're able to meditate, you're able to not think all the time, and then you connect with the truth. That's where the truth is.
There's no getting around it. You have to invest in your body. You have to invest in your life. Yes, you have to put time into preparing these. If you want to bring it up to a level where you can associate it with modern dining, you know. But we have technology today. We have the juicer, the blender, the food processor, the dehydrator. We can process food in a way where we don't destroy the life force in it. Cooking is an outmoded technology. We're in the 21st century. Let's get up to date, you guys. Come on.
Very true.
And
Very true. Cooking is outdated. Okay, you know when cooking was essential during the Ice Age. That's when. Okay, now that we're here, you can be a level 99 hunter-gatherer. Okay, you know. That's really how it is. You know, and you gotta invest in yourself. But guess what? Everyone's addicted to high stimulation. That's the biggest problem. And then the second biggest problem is the institution of thought that has just completely brainwash people, right? You just have to really just dedicate yourself to thinking more than 1 second about stuff, right? There's many people that if I tell them, oh, I'm a raw vegan, they're like, dude, like, where's your testosterone, dude? It's like, I'm eating a diet that is in line with my evolution. My hormones are literally better than yours, like, for sure. Like, my hormones are literally some of the best in the human population because I eat a natural diet. If you're eating Doritos and drinking beer, your hormones are the ones that are messed up. Like, big time.
But you think people should just take more time in preparing and caring about their food.
Absolutely.
Caring about themselves. That's what this is. This is caring about yourself. You know, people, like I say, I'm sure this guy wakes up with disease symptoms all the time, right? Fucking taking Advil, taking anti-acid. You know, like, I'm sure he's a nice guy. But you gotta care for yourself to a certain extent that makes you smash through the institution of thought.
Absolutely. We need to invest more in our body. It's the only thing that
Invest
we
more in
own. We
our
need to put it
bodies.
on the top of our agenda, whether
Yeah.
it's time, money, or whatever it is. We need to eat very expensive food. We need to live in an expensive body. We don't live in our house.
And I assume you would make the case that we can have what we would call a balanced diet in a raw food situation.
Absolutely. If you look at the vegetable kingdom, there's no greater balance within one food kingdom of food. You have the fruits, you have the vegetables, you have the protein, you have the starches right within there, and you can eat a good 90% of all of these fresh plant foods raw. The ones that you cannot eat raw were not intended for you to consume
Exactly. Okay. So it's the truth, guys. The institution doesn't want you to think it is, but you can go and do your own research. There's people that have cured diseases that the institutions say are uncurable. They've cured. It's not just one disease. They cure all of their diseases by going on this diet because it is the diet that you're supposed to be on, and because all disease is caused by the wrong diet. Boom. It's amazing. It's amazing. Wake up. You are on heaven you're on heaven and earth. That's what this is, right? If you accept the truth, you enter the gates of heaven on earth. Your disease will go away. All your problems will go away. Your mental problems, your spiritual problems, and your physical problems. Okay? God bless.